Their brains are small. But who's the dumbest one of all? True, none of them are in Mensa, but who's the most densa? Perhaps it's Sunny who mastered the art of making idiots look smart. She has a point. Maybe I am obsessed, but some people are obsessed with Bigfoot, and they don't get to see him on TV every afternoon. And if they did, could they tell the two apart? I don't know. Every single part of society was being gamed by the left, and finally, Americans got pushed too far. The point is, you don't have to like everything in the restaurant to like the restaurant. There are things, I go to a restaurant, I don't eat any seafood, but I like that restaurant because it's got steak. There are things that Trump will do that I will disagree with, but the entire package is as close as you're going to get to what Americans want.
It's been a minute since I've had to talk about the ladies on The View, mainly because the Trump-era legal chaos and a mountain of lawsuits seem to scare a little sense into them. But hey, as the old saying goes, slap a tiara on a monkey, and it's still a monkey. And sure enough, it didn't take long for the circus to reopen. The ladies are back to doing what they do best, serving up hot takes no one asked for, dripping in delusion. But this time, Greg Gutfeld was ready, and he didn't just clap back. He gave them the verbal beatdown of the year. It was brutal. It was hilarious. And oh yes, you need to see this.
Now The View could ask a mirror who's the dumbest one of all, but there's no way that glass doesn't shatter. So instead, let's check out this clip from Monday's episode of The View when the ladies put their science caps on and discuss the solar eclipse.
I used to think the ladies on The View were just clueless when it came to politics and socioeconomic issues. Little did I know, they're apparently flunking elementary school science too. Fair warning, you're about to hear some of the most ridiculous, laugh out loud, brain cell destroying science ever broadcast on daytime TV. We're talking logic that would make a fifth grader cringe, facts thrown out the window in favor of feelings and buzzwords, and somehow they say it all with a straight face, like they're breaking news on the Discovery Channel. Buckle up, it's a ride.
I know, right? I mean, I have to say, Karen Dupiche, our wonderful, one of our wonderful makeup artists, when the earthquake was happening, she put her coat on and she was like, Jesus is coming.
I'm out.
I'm out. I'm leaving. We've got a solar eclipse. We've got the earthquake. She ran down the hallway.
The rapture is here.
The rapture's here. And then also I learned that the cicadas are coming.
Cicadas.
Cicadas.
Although I love
for the first time in like
No,
100 years.
no.
For the first time in many, many years.
No, every 17 years this happens.
Well, that's not what I read, but maybe, you know, maybe you know better. All those things together would maybe lead one to believe that, you know, either climate change exists
That's more
or something is really going on.
returning.
Earthquakes are not at the mercy of climate change. It's underground. It can't. I don't think
It happens, and the eclipse, they've known about the eclipse coming because eclipses happen, and they actually can say when these things are going to happen.
I warned you folks. How on earth do these ladies not understand the basic science behind a solar eclipse? That's like 5th or 6th grade material. You know, the stuff with flashlights and tennis balls in science class. But no, somehow they managed to connect a solar eclipse to climate change. Yes, really. And these are the same women the media props up as informed voices? Please, I seriously wonder what they were doing when their teacher explained the mechanics of eclipses, passing notes, or plotting their next groupthink session. Greg Gutfeld, though? Oh, he didn't hold back. He came in swinging, armed with facts and fire. Listen to his scorching takedown.
The true sign of the apocalypse is someone that dumb has a law degree. Worse, if your name has the word sun in it, there's no excuse for not knowing how an eclipse works. But it's no surprise that Joy is the one who understands science. She's been on the science diet for years. They're turning on me. So that makes Sunny Hostin, who thinks climate change caused the solar eclipse, the dumbest of them all. Because everyone knows the moon caused the eclipse, which is controlled by the View's gravitational pull.
Because everyone knows the moon caused the eclipse, which is controlled by the View's gravitational pull. Do people really take these ladies seriously? Because based on what comes out of their mouths, they don't seem to have a clue about anything. Not politics, not economics, and clearly not science. It's almost like watching a parody of a talk show, except they're dead serious. And that's the scary part. No wonder they've been hit with lawsuits and legal warnings left and right. When you're constantly peddling misinformation and smug groupthink, eventually reality bites back. But you know what I find most fascinating? The fact that people still tune in to watch this circus. There's a weird comfort, I guess, in watching folks confidently say the dumbest things imaginable on national TV. Maybe it's a guilty pleasure. Maybe it's doom scrolling in video form. Or maybe some people just enjoy watching a televised train wreck 5 mornings a week. Either way, one thing's clear. The View has become less of a talk show and more of a cautionary tale. Anyway, The View caught wind of Greg Gutfeld's roast and staged a comeback of their own. Listen to this.
The witch's coven finally shows me some lovin'. Yesterday on The View, yours truly was the subject of conversation. Apparently, the broads have no idea who I am, or so they say. Hit it, Gladys.
They said that Gutfeld talks about you all the time.
Who is he? Well, really, who is he?
I don't watch the show.
He has a show.
I don't watch the
never
show.
heard of him.
Yeah.
I guess he's just obsessed with me.
Yep, that was their big clapback. Disappointed? Same here. You'd think with all the airtime and writers at their disposal, they could at least cook up something half decent. But nope, they couldn't even land a weak punch on one of the undisputed kings of the roast, Greg Gutfeld. Am I surprised? Not in the slightest. These ladies have built an entire brand on tossing out lazy hot takes and emotional outbursts, not clever comebacks or sharp wit. So instead of engaging, what do? They act like Gutfeld doesn't even exist. Classic move. Pretend he's irrelevant to downplay the fact that he just wiped the floor with them. It's the equivalent of plugging your ears and shouting, la 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 la. I can't hear you. Because deep down, they know they got torched, and they've got nothing to fire back with. But Greg Gutfeld? He pulled no punches. Listen as he goes hard on the ladies.
Next, Joy's gonna say she's never heard of carbs. Seriously, her denial of knowing me is as believable as her red hair. But obsession? I mean, come on, Joy. Where would you even get that idea? Like Joy Behar's face, it's looking worse and worse by the day. More full of crap than Joy Behar after a night of scotch and Taco Bell. Her being named Joy is like me being named ugly. Joy wasn't there on the show. Apparently Mondays are her days off when she feeds in the pasture. It now smells like a humid day inside Joy Behar's moo-moo. The motives stink worse than Joy Behar's jog bra. I mean, assuming she jogs. Oh, wait, there she is.
Now, fair warning. If you're the overly sensitive type, this roast might not be your cup of tea, because Greg Gutfeld doesn't hold back. Not even a little. It almost feels like he's got a personal vendetta against Joy Behar with the way he goes in on her. But honestly, I doubt it's personal. It's probably just the same frustration the rest of us feel every time The View opens its mouth and spews another round of brain-melting nonsense. At this point, it's not even surprising. We've lost count of how many times the ladies have dragged Trump through the mud over and over while showing zero understanding or acknowledgement of his actual policies. They parrot buzzwords, mock the man endlessly, and pretend like that counts as political commentary. It's performative outrage masked as intellectual debate, and that's why Greg's takedown hits so hard. It's not just funny, it's deserved. He's saying what so many Americans are thinking, but with sharper jokes and zero filter. But he doesn't stop there. He goes even harder.
She has a point. Maybe I am obsessed, but some people are obsessed with Bigfoot, and they don't get to see him on TV every afternoon. And if they did, could they tell the two apart? I don't know.
Okay, that was hilarious. But that's exactly what you get when you hitch your wagon to the woke train, spend years gaslighting the public, and blindly cheerlead for a political party that seems to care more about virtue signaling than actual American values. The View has been throwing dust in the eyes of millions of Americans for years, peddling half-truths, partisan spin, and emotional manipulation disguised as daytime commentary. At this point, roasting them almost feels like a mercy. It's like trying to correct a broken GPS that's been confidently sending people off a cliff for a decade. They've misinformed, misled, and muddled nearly every major national conversation they've touched. So when Greg Gutfeld comes through with a scorcher of a takedown, it's not just comedy, it's correction. They've had their moment to dominate the narrative. Now it's time someone calls them out with clarity, wit, and a little fire. And Greg did it in style, just as he did with Jessica Tarlov. Take a listen.
That's total indoctrination. All the intersectionality,
By the way,
trans.
That's the statement. You don't think that black trans people exist or black queer people exist or
That's a straw
non-conforming
man
people?
or a straw trans. Excuse me.
Don't do that. This is serious.
No, I'm actually being serious. Just because people do not want That stuff, because it's age inappropriate, does not make them transphobic. Because you're going there.
Okay, well, let's talk about a book ban now. Out of Darkness, a young adult novel about two teens that have a relationship. It's now been 16 school districts are coming for this book.
Whatever.
I don't know about the book.
Yeah,
I will read it this weekend.
Because good. Let's book club it.
The rate at which the left throws around the word phobia is honestly fascinating. It's become their go-to move, like a verbal reflex. Anytime someone dares to challenge an ideology or express a viewpoint that doesn't worship at the altar of their sacred narratives. Out comes the label, phobic. It doesn't matter how logical, respectful, or evidence-based your argument is. Once you question anything they hold dear, you're instantly branded as hateful or bigoted. They don't engage with your points. They don't debate your logic. They just slap a label on you and walk away, smug and satisfied, as if name-calling somehow makes them right by default. It's intellectual laziness masquerading as moral superiority. And worst of all, it shuts down real conversation. Instead of confronting ideas, they attack the person delivering them. It's a cheap tactic designed to silence rather than understand. But here's the thing, they're not silencing everyone. People are catching on. And the louder they yell phobia, the clearer it becomes that they're terrified of dissent, not defending truth. Just defending their echo chamber. But their fight didn't end there. Gutfeld kept dismantling Tarla's arguments piece by piece.
Trump did not hide any of this from anyone.
True.
And that's the difference.
You guys sat here and you argued that the Afghanistan withdrawal was one of the worst atrocities in foreign policy, that we left people behind, not only American service members and Americans who are still living, the American service members who passed away tragically and the ones who are still living, but the people that helped us for years during that war. And now you say, oh, it's fine that their flights are just canceled?
No, I didn't say it's fine. I'm saying that Americans voted for it. That's the difference. I don't have to say it's fine. I'm just telling you the reality.
Gutfeld dismantled Tarla's argument with the precision of a surgeon's knife, clean, sharp, and undeniable. And that restaurant analogy? Spot on. You don't have to love every dish on the menu to call it your favorite place to eat. The same goes for Trump's approach. He saw people gaming the system, exploiting loopholes for personal or political gain. And unlike the career politicians, he actually did something about it. He's closing the gaps, restoring order. Finitoed, and no need for emotional blackmail. No need for endless virtue signaling. Just common sense action. And that's what terrifies the left, because results speak louder than performative outrage. In the end, Gutfeld didn't just roast the view, he exposed it. The emotional spin, the lazy arguments, the virtue signaling. It all crumbles under facts and wit. Americans are waking up. The era of blind obedience to woke nonsense is fading, and truth, finally, is making a comeback. And that brings us to the end of today's video. If you enjoyed our commentary, then hit the like button and subscribe to the channel for more analysis such as this. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next one.